theory emphasizes learning through reinforcement. Correct answer is option B. Thorndike's connectionism. The main focus of Bloom's taxonomy is. Correct answer is option C. Educational objectives, which is not a cognitive domain level in Bloom taxonomy. Correct answer is option D. Motivation, which is not a type of reinforcement schedule. Correct answer is option C. Random punishment, which is not a feature of constructivist classroom. Correct answer is option C. Teacher dominance, which is not a part of cognitive development. Correct answer is option D. Emotional operational, which teaching method best develops problem-solving skills. Correct answer is option C. Inquiry method, which is not a characteristic of formative assessment. Correct answer is option C. Final grading only, which level of Bloom's taxonomy involves judgment based on criteria. Correct answer is option C. Evaluation, which theory rejects structured teaching and promotes natural learning. Correct answer is option C. Naturalism, which is the strongest indicator of deep learning. Correct answer is option C. Ability to transfer knowledge, which principle best explains why prior knowledge affects new learning. Correct answer is option B. Schema theory. Learning is best when it is self-initiated, is most aligned with. Correct answer is option B. Classical conditioning, which is not a characteristic of good evaluation tool. Correct answer is option C. Bias, which factor most influences retention of learning. Correct answer is option B. Meaningfulness, which teaching method best supports critical thinking. Correct answer is option C. Problem-based learning. The concept of zone of proximal development emphasized. Correct answer is option B. Assisted learning, which is not a component of constructivist classroom. Correct answer is option C. Passive listening. The key feature of competency-based education is. Correct answer is option C. Skill mastery, which is not a principle of Thorndike's learning theory. Correct answer is option D. Law of imitation. The term cognitive apprenticeship relates to. Correct answer is option B. Guided learning in real context, which theory is most associated with learning as social participation. Correct answer is option C. Situated learning theory, which is the strongest indicator of meaningful learning. Correct answer is option C. Ability to apply in new situations, which concept best reflects learning in context dependent. Correct answer is option B. Situated cognition, which is not a characteristic of effective lesson planning? Correct answer is option C, random teaching. Which principle explains readiness for learning? Correct answer is option A, Thorndike's law. The most effective teaching strategy for critical thinking is? Correct answer is option C, problem solving method. Evaluation is a judgmental process, means it involves. Correct answer is option C, value-based decision making, which is not included in emotional intelligence. Correct answer is option C, IQ. Which Bloom's level requires highest cognitive processing? Correct answer is option C, creating level. The most important element of effective questioning in teaching is? Correct answer is option B, clarity. Which type of reinforcement increases behavior by removing unpleasant stimulus? Correct answer is option B, negative reinforcement. According to Bruner, learning proceeds in which order? Correct answer is option A, inactive, iconic and symbolic, which is not a feature of constructivist learning. Correct answer is option B, passive reception. Which theory best explains learning through internal mental restructuring rather than external reinforcement? Correct answer is option B, cognitivism. Evaluation is broader than measurement because it includes. Correct answer is option B, value judgment. The main goal of education according to idealism is? Correct answer is option B, moral and spiritual development, which is not a characteristic of formative assessment. Correct answer is option C, summative. Learning is a change in behavior. Definition is given by? Correct answer is option D, all of these, which is not a principle of effective teaching. Correct answer is option C, rote memorization only. The main limitation of classical conditioning is? Correct answer is option B, it ignores cognition. Which theory rejects stimulus response mechanism? Correct answer is option B, constructivism. In constructivism, knowledge is primarily. Correct answer is option B, discovered by learner. The cognitive domain includes how many levels? Correct answer is option B, 6 levels. The founder of classical conditioning theory is? Correct answer is option B, Paul is the founder of classical conditioning. Operant conditioning is based on? Correct answer is option B, reinforcement and punishment. The zone of proximal development is given by? Correct answer is option B, Vygotsky, who developed multiple intelligence theory. Correct answer is option B, Kohlberg, who is the father of modern education psychology. Correct answer is option B, Thorndike. Learning transfer means. Correct answer is option B. Applying learning in new situation.